You know, with all the hype that surrounded Battlefield Bikini Bottom last year, I'm actually surprised there wasn't very many videos like this. But as the old saying goes, if you want something done,
I'll do it myself.
Today, we'll be looking at 10 of the hardest golden spatulas in the game. In order to be considered hard, it has to meet 3 of these criteria. Number 1, the difficulty. How much effort do I have to put into this without using cheats and glitches? Number 2, how much time is it going to take? Number 3, the level of rage. Is this going to make me not be angry at all? Is this going to be more of a nuisance? Or is this literally going to want me to throw my TV out the window, set it on fire, and take a hefty shit on it? I should also mention that I'm only leveling 1 level boss and 1 mini boss, otherwise this would be outweighed with boss fights. I should also mention that I'll be excluding socks and shiny objects, because those can actually add up to their own video. Without further ado, let's begin. Look, I know working in retail and fast food can be a nightmare at times, but did we really need to have to be reminded about this in Battlefield Bikini Bottom 2? That's exactly what happened in Crabby Patty platforms. Spongebob has to fight 3 different types of robots on a grill that is slippery than hell, and each robot destroyed will lower a platform until you can reach the top. There is a silver lining though. The D1000s don't spit out random robots like you would think. They actually spit out certain robots. The left spitting out tubelets, the middle spitting out slicks, and the right spitting out flotters. If you can destroy 5 of the same robots, you'll be able to lower the platforms and take out that Duplicatotron, taking out that robot for the remainder of the battle. It's easier said than done though, and it will take some time. But not too difficult with the other ones on here.
now to a not so difficult but tricky side of the game, we have Swing Along Spatula. What makes this so tricky is that the button that is hidden behind a rock next to one of the paintings on Sandy's mission on the first part of Rock Bottom. Boy, that was a mouthful to freaking say. Of course, there are shiny objects leading to the button, but they're also very easy to miss. But once you find the button, you'll unlock a swinger, and you guessed it, swing to a platform with more shiny objects, and the 3rd golden spatula on Rock Bottom story. Staying in Rock Bottom, we have the very clever name Across the Trench of Advanced Darkness. The spatula is across a very dark trench, if you couldn't guess it from the title.
To clarify more on this, there's a huge gap approximately in real life world, I would say about 100, maybe 150 yards, which drops down to an endless abyss.
You first need to complete the mission. Lasers are fun and good for you. You can then use Sandy to glide across the gaps, get into the teleporter box, which is across the Trench of Advanced Darkness. I'm getting really tired of saying that. And switch to Spongebob. Go back across the trench, again using the same teller box. And destroy the Sleepy Time robots blocking you, and the other robots as well. This is a nice little puzzle game with missions which make you think, unlike the other missions you have to do later on. But this makes number 8 because the continuous Sleepy Time boss you have to encounter. Even in the remake, the sensitivity is high. They're still easier than the original, but it's just encountering the Sleepy Time bots that makes this difficult. For the most part, Bikini Bottom has extremely easy golden spatulas. I mean, annoy Squidward on top of the pineapple, wall jump in the chum bucket. Unless you stumble into the Krusty Krab, where the strongest robots up to this point have resigned in and taken over the Krusty Krab. I mean, you spawn in and you see a Chuck and 2 Sleepy Time robots up in the Raptors. Then you're confined in a small space and introduced to the new robots, the Bzzbot, by getting hit with 4 of them at once. However, sneaking over to one of the Sleepy Time robots and destroying it will actually put you out of range from the other robots. destroy the D1000, and the rest is easy.
Phew! You had me worried there for a bit, boy. Worried for me money, of course.
Gee, thanks, Mr. Krabs.
Kelp Forest has never been very fond with player-friendly missions. One of the reasons is Tiki Roundup. In a nutshell, you go around looking for 3 stone tikis and throw them on the platform so you can get up to a golden spatula on a cliff. Boss fights in Battle for Bikini Bottom are either easy or hard. There is literally no in between. For the most part, they're easy, unless you're facing Robot Patrick. At first it seems fair and you can run around the entire arena, including the inside. That is until the second part of the battle when you play as Sandy and Robot Patrick starts filling the inside with hot goo. And on the third part of the battle, Patrick can now freeze you and hitting on the weak part becomes even harder. Well, also because you don't know where he's gonna land, and if you're on the conveyor belt, it's gonna be even harder to hit him there. It just doesn't make any sense. This also makes it part of the hardest boss fights in the entire game. Yes, you ever so love time trials in games. There could be a little bit of anxiety raging. Now imagine a time trial on a thin track surrounded by toxic bacteria. Well, that's exactly what you get on the mission, A Path Through the Goo.
First off, you need to hit a goo tanker and shut the lid. That way you can be able to even attempt this mission. Once that, you go to the clam, pay 2,700 shiny objects to open a chest. 2,700 shiny objects to open a chest. Really? Once you press the button, you have 30 seconds to use the Spongebob to go across a not so straight and narrow path, dodge the plotters, and get the spatula in the cage. What makes it difficult is the physics on the Spongebob are ridiculous. If you're a new player, you're going to have a lot of trouble with this one. The final battle. Final act, coup de grace. This is the moment where the bad guy gets their just desserts. In the number 3 spot, the small shall rule or not. Basically, you take on Robot Plankton inside of the Spongebob. And waiting for you in there, for some god-awful reason, you have Duplicatotron 1000s in the first stage robots waiting for you. Take them out, then you're greeted by Robot Plankton who will not go away. What makes this hard though? First off, you have to dodge lasers and fight robots, thankfully not at the same time, on a 5 to 6 meter platform. Also making it really hard is there are no extra lives to help you, which means if you do not go in with full amount of lives, you will be struggling even more. There are no checkpoints. So once you die, you have to restart from the very beginning of that stage. In the rehydrated version though, you die, where you die, you spawn there. Doesn't make it any less hard by much, but it's still at the number 3 spot. Alright, coming in at number 2 spot, we have Beat Mermaid Man's Best Time. We already know when we saw this list that this was going to be on there somewhere, and we're ranking it so high up on the list for multiple reasons. First off, Spongebob physics for sliding are weird enough. Then now add in how unfair the Kelp Blind Slide is. You have multiple turns and curves, you have multiple gaps, and then you also have multiple paths you can take. And now you also have a roughly 2-minute timer to beat his time. This is an extremely unfair mission where if you're going for a clean playthrough, it will take you roughly near at least, I'd say about 20 minutes to try to beat cleanly. Alright, ladies and gentlemen, there is only one more spot to go, but before we get to the number 1 spot on the hardest golden spatulas in the entire game, I think it'd be great to mention a few honorable mentions. And the hardest golden spatula in Battle for Bikini Bottom Rehydrated goes to the Rolling Ballroom Challenge. Basically, there is a golden spatula under the glass, and you have to get this ball to go through the chain reaction. Sounds easy enough, except if you are a millisecond off. At least a millisecond off. The ball will fall. The ball can shatter from the swinging hammer. If you balance it wrong, it will fall through. This one was so hard in the original that when they did the remake, they actually gave you an achievement or a trophy depending on what platform you're playing on when you beat this. Which is why I put it at the #1 spot. I mean, is there even another one that deserves that spot? And there you have it, 10 of the hardest golden spatulas in Battle for Bikini Bottom Rehydrated. Was there any I left out? If so, make sure you leave a comment in the comment section. And if you enjoyed this video, make sure you like and subscribe. This is a new channel. I want to make it grow and hopefully one day make it into a community. So if you have any suggestions, also leave in the comment section. Also, I'll be looking through them. Join me next time when I look at 10, the opposite hand, 10 of the easiest golden spatulas in Battle for Bikini Bottom Rehydrated. Until next time, guys. Love y'all. Stay 0-2.